My name's Sarah. In this class, we like to smile, we like to modify, we like to not take ourselves so seriously. So, disclaimer right off the bat. If it hurts, don't do it. You tell me to go straight to hell. Do not pass go, do not collect $200. Just say no. I don't want anybody hurting themselves. So pay attention to your body. Pay attention to what you guys need. And on that happy note, we're going to start seated in our chairs. We're going to nestle ourselves all the way back. Now, for anybody joining us online today, I should make the disclaimer, we are going to use a little block. So if you have a yoga block, great. If not, grab a book, an encyclopedia. Those Harry Potter books work really well. I've used them before. Some kind of prop, and you guys can just leave yours right where they are. We're going to settle just for a moment, bringing the mind, the body, all into one place, all at the same time, leaving all of the things we're worried about out there in the hallway. So maybe gently closing the eyes, resting the hands gently on the lap, simply breathing. Things begin to settle like snow in a snow globe. Letting the dust of the day so far sift down to the ground. Maybe taking this gentle moment at the beginning of your practice to set an intention or a goal. We're all about goals these days, right? So maybe thinking about one word that you can take with you through your practice today. Thinking about what your body needs in this practice. Every day is different. Every moment is different. Taking some time, think about that word, that mantra, thing that will carry you through our time together in the chair and on the mat today. Very gently begin by bringing our hands to our knees. Eyes open or closed. Begin to round forward very gently, very slowly. Starting out with kind of that lip ragdoll posture. Letting the shoulders fold forward, head and neck release and relax. Your next inhale, feel the chest expand as you press your heart forward. Shoulders peel back and down. As the crown of the head reaches forward, chin stays tucked, arching that back just a little bit. Put a nice arch in there. Make a smile or parentheses, I guess, with your back. And then on your exhale, round forward again. Moving very, very slowly. We begin. And on your inhale, reverse, coming all the way back up. Pressing that chest forward, shoulders peel back, heart reaches towards the front of the room. Exhale, round forward. Continuing that seated cat-cow, moving back and forth with the inhale and the exhale. mind and the breath and the body all together. Feeling a gentle ripple come up the spine, beginning at the tailbone and the hips, moving all the way up to the chest, the heart, and then feeling those shoulders release and relax forward as you round gaze comes towards the belly button. Finding a little meditation and movement here. Calming down the mind. Gently, we're going to bring the arms into this equation. So opening up through the chest as we press the heart forward, peeling the arms back, feeling opening the chest, shoulder blades come together, round forward, hands come back to knees. Inhale, we come up, heart comes forward. Exhale, rounding, hands come to knees. Now the beautiful thing about all of this is that your breath is going to be a little different than mine. So I don't want you to try and match my pace. I want you to breathe in and out as slowly as your body is saying it wants to breathe in and out. I am here to guide you along the way, but you pick how fast, slow, deep, strong you want to go today. Making that inhale, that exhale a little bigger, finding some more expansive movement this time. One more, opening up the heart. We're going to meet together with our hands on our knees in that limp ragdoll, that cat position, bringing all of the attention into your feet. So the gaze should be a little down towards the ground. I want you to look at your sneakers. Make sure there's hip width apart, so heel toe your feet out. Make sure you can fit 2 fists between there if you needed to. I want you to press your sneakers into the ground. Imagine you are pressing a panini into the floor, all the way down, putting some pressure on the bottoms of those feet. You'll feel a very gentle heat begin to build through the calves, the knees, the thighs. Feel that sense of strength come up through sits bones and hips. As we feel the belly button press back towards the spine, hop on your little spine elevator and try to ride its way all the way up towards your heart, engaging that root lock. As the shoulders peel back and down, hands come down by the side. Deep breath in, let's sweep out towards the side. High five the person next to you. Oh, no, wait, there isn't a person next to you. You can high five. That's great. All the way down to heart center. We're going to continue to flow, going up. And as we rise up with the fingertips scraping the sky, we're going to grow taller through the spine. Feel the head, the crown of the head float up as the hands float towards that heart center. So building that strength, that core stability, as our foundation for our practice today. Inhale, we rise. Exhale, hands sink. Again, you go faster, you go slower, you clue into your breath today. Continuing to feel that spine grow a little straighter, a little taller with each inhale and each exhale. Rooting into those sits bones. As that puppeteer in the sky loops his little string into your head, pulls you straight up. Feeling that opposing energy as we create space in the spine. You're almost there. Marrying breath with movement. This next time as we rise up, we are going to ski jump our arms forward, pressing back, high-fiving whoever's in back of you, and then reaching tall. Find a little hinge in the hips, so that length we created in the spine is still there, but you're just hinging from that hip point as you rise up on the inhale and hinge forward on the exhale. Now try your best to rotate those palms towards the back as you exhale and press back. It's going to open up a different part of your shoulder there. Again, if it hurts, don't do it. Pay attention to your body. Everybody's shoulders are a little bit different. Some of you know what's coming next in just 10 seconds. Foreshadowing. Remember that little foot panini? You're pressing your sneakers into the ground. Feet are hip width apart. As we rise all the way into chair pose. Out of the chair. Woo! All right, make sure you can wiggle your toes. Good morning. Hips are still pressed back towards the chair. Knees are not dangling in front of your sneakers. Look around, make sure you can see your toes. Beautiful. Hands can be pressed back, heart can be opened. Options for chair pose, you can put your hands on your hips. That is beautifully supported. Yes, your thighs are probably starting to burn by now. It's on purpose, I promise. They can come to heart center, or if you can do so without really arching and crunching your back, you can come forward, high-fiving the ceiling. You pick your poison, figure out what you're up to today before we reach all the way up. And we are going to melt everything down through heart center, forward fold, stretch out those hammies, give them some nice love. Just for a hot second before we come all the way up, hands on the knees, kind of coming into that exhausted pose, but just kidding, your spine is straight. So again, that belly button's pulled back towards the spine and up towards the heart, engaging that core. Teacup on the back of your neck. So imagine, it's still morning. We're going to say teacup, not shot glass. So something delicate on the back of your neck. And if you crunch your spine, you're going to drop your teacup. It's going to spill all over the floor. It's going to shatter. It's going to be really embarrassing. So try your best to keep that neck straight, spine long. Engage the glutes. Press the hips forward as you rise up. Extended mountain pose. And then sinking down into your version of chair. Woo! We'll kind of get how that goes. Let's reach up. Melt everything down through that center line. Come into a forward fold. Let it go. Halfway up, flat back, heart off or straight spine. Engage through the glutes. Come all the way up into that extended mountain. Chair pose. Exhale your version. Reaching all the way up. Opening up through the heart, drizzle it down, forward fold. Give those hammies a stretch just for a second before coming halfway up. Tiny little bend in the knees, straight spine. Straighten everything out. Reach up. Drizzle it down. Find your chair pose. Circle sweep it up. Exhale, come forward. Halfway up, flat back, shoulders peel away from the ears. All the way into that extended mountain. Chair pose. Reaching up. Drizzle it down. Forward fold. Halfway up, flat back. Come tall, extended mountain. Chair pose, your version. Reaching up. Let's come into that forward fold one more time for now. Halfway up, flat back. Reach tall. Chair pose, your version. Beautiful. This time, let's everybody reach back. Ski jump like you're about ready to jump into your practice. Maybe bounce just a little bit. Oh, that's fun. And then into your chair. Oh my Lanta, we're going to turn towards the door. So coming with your right knee off of the chair, we're going to let it dangle. And we're going to open up through that hip just a little bit. So pressing back with that right foot. You can tuck the toe. You can put the laces of the sneaker flat on the ground. Just depends on how big of a stretch you want through that quad, that hamstring, that quad hip flexor. I know my muscles, I've done training, I promise. Whew. Make sure that you are steady on your chair. Nobody's going to fall out. Don't want any big thuds. Press it back until you feel a stretch. And then maybe one arm comes up into this seated warrior one variation. Or maybe both arms come up. You pick. Make sure not to crunch that low back. Whoa, if you're leaning back, try not to. Let's lean forward just a little bit. Hinging from the hips, engaging through that core, and then coming all the way back into warrior two, opening up the heart towards the front of the room. Again, you grab the chair, totally fine. Where the heart leads, that's the important part. Reaching those left fingertips up. Let's come into a reverse warrior. Beautiful. Back through warrior two. We're flowing here. Point both fingers towards the door. Laser tip fingers. Hands come to heart center. And we are going to twist very gently towards our chair. So grabbing the back of your chair. Now this can be kind of intense. So even if it's just a tiny little twist and your hands are still on your legs, that's totally fine. Make sure that spine is still long, straight, tall. Puppet chair still hooked in. He's still controlling you. And then unwind all the way towards the front of the room. You'll notice your hips are wide. Let's come into a wide leg forward fold, releasing that low back just for a second. Whew. And then coming all the way back up, just when you thought that felt good. We'll do it again, I promise. We'll get back there. We're going to turn towards the other side, dropping that left knee off the chair. Beautiful. Again, toe can be tucked. Laces the sneakers flat on the ground. You pick your poison. As long as you're feeling an opening through that hip, you're good. One arm can come up. Other arm can come up. You pick. Finding that nice hip opening, that stability through those side body muscles. Your obliques are lit up. Core is turned on. Pause here. Look at the clouds drifting out the window. Oh, that's beautiful. Sorry, I'm going to take your gaze away towards the front now to come to warrior two. Turning towards the front of the room. Now, if your arms kind of look more like this, because your spine mobility just is at a different place, that's good, that's great. Opening up like this, yikes, that can be kind of tough. So make sure that you're doing okay. Make sure those hips are still planted in the chair. You're not going to fall. And then reach those right fingertips towards the ceiling, reverse warrior. Ooh, that deepens that stretch in that hip just a little bit. Ooh. Again, growing tall before we crunch back. Never really want to crunch the spine. So make sure you're reaching up, becoming expensive, taking up so much space before coming all the way back into your warrior two. Charging fingertips towards that right side of the room. Bring them in towards your heart. And let's twist towards the back. Twisting out towards the back of the room. Maybe grabbing the back of that chair if that's okay. If not, no biggie. Just keep that hand on that thigh. And try to turn your heart towards the back. Find your level of mobility. And then we're going to come all the way back around towards the front. Both hips planted, anchored, solid. Heel toe the feet in. Nice. Some of you know what's coming next. We want to track knees over toes. Let's hinge forward. We're going to release that low back. Feel that hinge. And then we are going to come all the way up. I'm going to mess with you guys a little bit today. Reaching up. I want you to give yourself a real big hug. You kind of deserve it. Bringing the right underneath the left. Go ahead and open up through that back body, those shoulders. And if you want to go deeper, you can bring the elbows up to the sky. But you pick. This is going to be tough here in just a second. So maybe you lay off on the hug just a little bit as we come all the way into a wide leg squat. Whoa! Now, if this doesn't work, it's a little hard to do. Oh, you guys are pros. Forget that. I'm not going to modify for you. You've got this. Coming all the way up. Bring the elbows up towards the sky. If eagle wrap is in your practice, you can go for that route too. Coming down, let the elbows fall in. Give yourself a bigger hug as you come into that squat, breathing slow. Reaching up. This is going to work your balance just a little bit. Again, finding your edge, your opening. All the way down. Exhale, moving slow. Reaching up, moving slow is a little harder. I'm sorry. Kind of sorry. Sorry, not sorry, because it's making me stronger. And then up. And then down. Last time up. And as you come down, sweep everything around, find that chair. Ooh. Beautiful. Now that we're planted firmly in our chair, we're going to reach our arms up. Big deep breath, and then left comes underneath the right. Let's see if we can do it again. Coming all the way up into that wide leg squat. Nice. Now that's tough. If it takes a little bit to get there, you can always use a chair to kind of hoist you up and then come back into that shoulder opener. Again, if eagle wrap, whoa, that funky twisty thing is in your practice, you can do it. If not, let's come all the way up, opening up through the shoulders, and then down. Inhale, we rise. Exhale, we come down. Inhale, we rise. Exhale, slow down. I know it's harder to move slow. So many aspects of our lives, it's harder to move slow. It's important though. Moving mindfully. Squeezing in just a few more. If you're feeling like eagle wrap, you can go for it, but it's kind of intense on the shoulders. It takes a lot of practice, a lot of opening, so be careful with your body. Make sure you're not hurting yourself. You're going to be helping yourself. Last one, all the way up. Release the arms. Beautiful. Coming into sunflowers. Coming to that low squat. Bend your knees. Pick up something off the floor, notably the sun, and bring it up over the horizon, over your head. Sunflowers. Let's flow back and forth through them. Sun from the floor. Come up into the sky. Exhale, we come into that low squat, hinging from the hips, reaching up, full body stretch. Beautiful, moving through every major joint in the body. And once again, cluing into your breath. So your exhale takes you into the squat. Your inhale raises you up. It's kind of like you're filling a balloon animal balloon. It's an analogy I've used before. So if anybody has ever made balloon animals before, if you have a previous profession as a clown, you'll know what I'm talking about. Inhale, we become straight. Exhale, we squeeze it all out. And again, flowing with your breath, your inhale, your exhale. We're here for the same amount of time, no matter how many you squeeze in. So if you want to move slower or faster, you pick. Going. Squeezing in one more. Before reaching all the way up, finding that five-pointed star, reaching tall. Puppeteer is really reaching in towards the sky this time. And hands come to heart center. Let's step towards the right side of our chair. Finding mountain pose. So we're just going to relax, kind of, in mountain pose. So I want you to bring both feet into the ground. Find that rootedness that we began class with. You are pressing your sneakers into the floor. All four corners of the feet, or three, depending on how you look at your foot. Pressing, rooting, tangling tree branches in the hair of the people below you as you feel anchored, solid, strong. And feel that sense of strength build up through the thighs as they gently tense. Feeling that core engage. So that belly button, he's still trying to hop on that elevator. He's still trying to go on up. It's being horribly unsuccessful, but you kind of get the gist. Crown of the head reaches tall, shoulders peel back and down. Pause here, just for a breath, just for a beat. Feeling powerful, strong. Reconnecting with your breath. Reconnecting with your intention, that goal you set. Breathing that word or mantra in, and repeating it again in your mind as you exhale. We are going to take this sense of rootedness with us right into a high lunge. So go ahead and step that left foot back. So you know you're doing the right thing. You're on the right side of the chair. If you can turn and give your chair a big old hug. So that's how you know. There you go. Doing the right thing. There you go. You're good. Now you know you're in a high lunge instead of a warrior because your heel is up off the floor in the back. Make sure it's kind of dangling there. This tests your balance just a little bit. So make sure the chair's there. Make sure you're feeling rooted. You're okay. Bend generously through that front knee, especially if you're here for the strength. Maybe widen the feet. Oh, that ups the intensity just a little bit. Tailbone pulls down. Crown of the head reaches up. Find your strength. Find your balance. If you'd like to play a little bit, one hand can come to heart center or both. It's up to you. You figure out what's going to work for you. Pause and hold here. Just feeling deep strength just for a moment. Using that breath to fuel you. Making sure you're feeling okay. Beautiful. We are going to bring those hands up towards the sky. Reaching tall. Down into cactus arms. Hinge everything from the shoulder, twist it all around. Oh, we're high-fiving the person in back of us again as we lean forward, hinge forward. Oh, that's going to make that thigh really burn. We're going to move through that just a few more times, coming all the way back up, finding your breath, using it to fuel you. Reach up. Exhale, cactus arms. Press everything forward, hinge forward. All the way back into those cactus arms. Building strength, stability. You can do it. Reaching up. Cactus arms. High five the person behind you. If you're giving other people strength, it means you've got some yourself. Reaching up. Last one. All the way, cactus arms. Hinging forward. Beautiful. Back through. We reach up. Straighten that front leg, bring the back foot in. Rest it on the ground. Oh, we've strengthened. We're going to stretch. Let's hinge forward. Coming into that pyramid pose. So, for this, bring that back foot in just a little bit until you feel strong, solid, steady. You're good. Sweet. Let's square both hips as much as we can towards the front of the room. A little jiggle in that front knee, but not super bent. And then begin to hinge forward until you feel a beautiful stretch along that hamstring that you just worked so hard. Beautiful. Using that chair to keep your spine a little bit more straight. Hinge coming from the hips, not the neck. Breathe into that stretch. And if you want to go deeper, you can bring that palm to the chair, the seat of the chair. But you pick your poison. You figure out what you need. So you breathe deeply into this deep, deep, deep stretch. Beautiful. A few more seconds. And then all the way back up. Let's come to the front of our chair. And just in case you missed sun salutations, standing sun salutations, we're going to do them again. So anchoring those feet into the ground, let's reach up. Drizzle everything down through that center line, coming into that forward fold. Oh, after all that thigh work, that kind of feels good on those hammies. Oh, I'm sorry, we can't stay here forever. I don't want your heads below your hearts. So, head up above the heart, strong straight spine, reaching those hips forward, growing tall, finding your version of chair pose. Now we are still building heat, so we're going to move just a smidge faster each time, reaching up, all the way into that forward fold. Halfway up, flat back, reach tall, extended mountain, chair pose, your version, reaching those hips back maybe farther than they've gone before, reaching up. Forward fold, halfway up, flat back, reach everything tall, extended mountain, your version of chair pose. You really want to try your balance. Those arms are going to come forward, reaching up. Forward fold. Halfway up, flat back. Reaching into extended mountain. Chair pose, your version. Reaching up. Make sure you can still wiggle those toes. Good morning. Forward fold. Halfway up, flat back, heart offer. Reach tall. Chair pose. Find that strength, find your power, feel your heart beating. It likes you, it's going to keep fueling your body. Halfway up, flat back. Extended mountain. Chair pose. 2 more. Reaching up. All the way forward fold. Halfway up, flat back. Heart offer. Extended mountain. Chair pose. Reaching up. Drizzle it down. Halfway up, flat back. Reach tall. Chair pose. Reaching up. Hands come to heart center. Find mountain. Almost at the top of the mountain. You can think about your workout that way. Almost to the downhill slope, you guys. Taking just a moment to reconnect. Let's go ahead and move to the left side of our chair. We are going to come into a lunge on the other side. So again, you know you're doing the right thing and going the right way. If you can turn around and hug your chair. So, you guys are good. You're great. Coming onto that back toe, you can maybe even squeeze in a little calf stretch here. Sometimes that feels super good. Bend generously through that front knee. Make sure the knee is trekking over the ankle at the most. And both sides are lit up. So, protecting that knee, imagine that somebody is about to punch you real hard on the sides of your thighs. And you have that involuntary muscle contraction. Go, oh, protect me. That's what the sides of your thighs should feel like. That'll help protect your knees and make sure they stay healthy and happy for a really long time. All right, we can do one hand up or both, up to you. We can do it either way. Cactus arms, let's do it. Exhale, hinge forward, rotate the shoulders. Find that strength, that power. Back through cactus arms. Reaching up. Cactus arms. Move slow like a turtle through molasses. All the way back. Coming back up. Use your breath. Inhale. Exhale, cactus arms. Keep that bend through that knee. All the way back. Hinging as the heart reaches forward. All the way in through cactus arms. You're almost there. Reaching up. Cactus arms. Heart reaches forward. Beautiful. Back up. Reach tall. Drizzle those hands down to heart center. Plant that back foot, coming into pyramid pose. So doing your best to square everything off towards the front of the room. Hips, heart, eyes, everything facing forward. As you begin to hinge, find that deep stretch in that front hamstring there. Again, depending on how tight this leg is, you can put your hand on top of the chair, or you can just place that palm on the seat. So making sure, because we've got that chair, it's pretty helpful. It's going to help keep your back straight. Oh, nice. There's some good adjustments there. That was awesome. Making sure that hinge comes from the hips. As you try to even things out, press that, what was it? Left hip back, right hip forward. You would think I would get used to mirroring people by now. Breathe through it. Feel that deep release. Deep, deep, deep stretch. Just when you thought this was blissful, we are going to come up and find a down dog at the back of our chair. Now we're going to find a moving down dog. So, playing the piano keys on the top of your chair with your wrists or your fingertips. You press those hips back. Head is down, gaze is towards the floor. We're going to widen those feet as wide as the mat. And then gently bring one knee in, and then the other knee in, sliding the hips back and forth along an imaginary plane, imaginary table. As you just flow with your breath. Back and forth, back and forth. Feeling that release through the hips, the low back. If it's a little yucky on the shoulders, you can change how bent those elbows are. Make sure you're doing okay, finding an okay shoulder stretch, something that's working for your body. Beautiful. One more time, each side. We're finding stillness, pressing back. And then we have a full 30 seconds to come back up. So bringing that upper body straight again, but man, taking your time. No whipping the heads. We don't want any woozies in here. Gently bring the feet in. Perfect timing. Love it. All right, you'll notice that there's a block on the back of your chair. This thing's going to come in handy here in just a second. We are going to use our little feet, and we are going to glide it towards the back right side of our chair. So have that little block right there. Make sure it's steady, solid, because you're going to stand on it. Bring that right foot to the block, making sure that you have some stability in front of you. So right foot comes to the block. Nice. We are, in just a few seconds here, going to raise everything up, evening out those hip points. So if that toe's still on the floor, that's fine. But what we're aiming for here eventually is bringing that toe off the floor, bringing the foot flat, evening out the hips as the bottoms of both feet come in line with one another. Ooh, this is like completely unsupported tippy mountain pose. We'll call this avalanche pose. How about that? Something about to fall down the mountain. But finding that stability, so zipping up through your core, finding that one spot in front of you can stare at, finding a little balance here. If that toe's still on the ground for some stability and you're still working on just evening out those hips, go for it. That is beautiful. It's great. Deepen the breath as you zip up that tummy, maybe tiny little bend in that standing right knee. Maybe hands come to heart center. Oh, maybe not. You figure out what works for you. Play with your balance today, not mine. Hands off my balance. As you come all the way down. Whew, gave you 3 extra seconds there. Sorry about that. So, with that block right there, we're going to come straight on into tree pose. So bringing that right knee out, pointing the right knee out, you can squeeze that block right into your ankle and just rest your toe on that block, heel on the calf. You can, if it's available to you, come up a little bit farther, placing the bottom of the foot on the calf. Or, if you can keep those hips as even as they were in that standing unsupported mountain pose, you can bring the foot all the way up, missing every single part of the thigh, or every single part of the knee. Oh, if you missed every part of the thigh, nothing would be up here, that would be weird. So find that spot in front of you, find your stability, maybe find your chair. And if you would like to, and I'm going to put this out here as a big fat if, you can start to play with the hands. Maybe upping that balance challenge just a little bit more, finding your level. Now if that ankle's wiggling, it's wobbling, good job. It means it's doing what it's supposed to. Just try not to let it wiggle so much that you fall over like a tree in the forest. Beautiful. And bringing that foot down. Coming back into that downward facing dog. Nice. Now from this down dog, we're going to bring our left hand off of the chair and try and keep our spine, our laser that's coming out of the top of our head, pointed over the top of the chair. So head is not below the heart. Don't want any woozies here. We're just going to let that arm dangle and begin to draw small circles with that arm going one direction. Clockwise, counterclockwise, doesn't matter because we're going to switch it up. Just feel it gently release, finding some movement through the shoulder. And reverse. Whichever direction you were going before, swap it out. Let's bring that arm up towards the chair. We're going to do the same thing with the other side. So dropping that right arm off the chair now. Make sure you're not locking out your knees. Super easy to do. Make sure to tiny bends. You begin to rotate. Draw circles on the ground. One direction. And then reverse. Other way. And then bringing that arm back up towards the chair, pointing those hips, stretching them towards the back. One more beautiful time before we take all the time we need to rise back up. Taking it slowly, so those feet a little bit closer towards your chair. I'm never going to argue with water. Nobody ever wants water. You take water breaks. Do all of the water. Because you gotta know what's coming next, don't ya? Let's bring that block towards the left side of your chair. And we are going to put your foot onto the block. Take a second, find your balance, and go ahead and hop on up. And by hop, I mean very gently raise the hips until they're equal. So finding that equality through the hips, zipping up through your core. There's lots of tiny little micro adjustments going on here. So those core muscles, those supportive, deep core muscles are lighting up. They are turning on. Belly button still coming back towards the spine and reaching up. Maybe the toe, that right toe comes off the ground. as the bottoms of the sneakers become level with each other, using the hips to even all of that out. Maybe hands are on the chair, maybe on the hip. The way that you can play with your balance, once you're feeling secure and you feel like your edge wants to go a little bit deeper, is by bringing hands to heart center. But that is a big fat if, people. Maybe one day we're reaching all the way up. What? Nope, just kidding, we're coming all the way down. Let's come into that tree pose on the other side. So conveniently, there's a block there. If you want to place your toe on it as the heel presses into the shin or the calf, you can do that. You can press that foot into the calf as the knee points out towards the side, or you can bring it all the way up. We are trying to achieve that same levelness in our hips that we had before. So if it's not there, it means that foot needs to go lower just a little bit. And go ahead and find your version of tree. Gazing at one spot in front of you. Maybe holding on to the chair, or maybe not. We wiggle, we wobble, we fall. No big deal, because we're coming right on down. Beautiful. This time, let's go ahead and kick that block. Well, I'm going to give you some options here. You can use the block or the chair to now into a calf stretch on the right leg. So you can either put your toe up on the block, maybe the arch of the foot even comes up there. Or you can place that foot on the back leg of your chair. So it kind of depends on, for people at home, what their chair looks like. Find the version that works for you. As we come into a deep calf stretch, maybe hinging forward from those hips to deepen it just a little bit more. Achilles release. And then a little love. Those feet are going to pull you through the rest of your day. Just a moment to say thank you to them. Very gently hinging back up. Releasing that foot. Let's bring the left foot to the block or the back of the chair. You choose. Finding that calf stretch on the other side. Gently coming all the way back up. Congratulations, you can keep that block under your chair if you want. You're done with it. No more block torture. As we come to the front of our chair, we're going to widen those feet, hip width apart, feel very rooted, solid, strong. As we breathe in, sweeping the arms up, moving through some flowing chairs. So ski jump arms, bend those knees, the hips come back, heart reaches forward. Same thing we were doing in those lunges. Reaching up, finding that shoulder mobility. Maybe a little bit of hip and leg strength too while we're at it. Moving slower than we have before. Deep inhales as you rise. And huge exhales as you come forward. Making sure you're being good to your knees. Weight is in the heels. You can wiggle your toes. Hello. Reconnecting with that breath, so finding that meditation and movement. As you raise your arms up and sink into chair pose at your own pace. One more. Conveniently, as we're down in that chair, we might be able to reach back, tickle the seat beneath us. Go ahead and find that chair. Now you're going to notice, the second you sit down, that back's going to want to go slump. We're done. I don't want to do it anymore. Keep it straight. Keep it strong. Keep it solid. We're almost there. Take this good posture with you throughout the rest of your day. It's going to help your back in the long run, I promise. We're going to anchor our hips back into the chair, coming into a seated pigeon pose. So bringing that right ankle over the left knee. Now you got a couple options here. If this feels a little wonky to you, like, oh, I am a pretzel when I'm doing this, you can straighten that left leg, cross the shin over, and just let the knee open. I promise it's doing the exact same thing for your hip. It's just being a little gentle on your specific body. So, find the variation that works for you. Ooh, and go ahead and fold forward. Being very careful not to put any extra pressure on that knee. So we're letting the hips gently open as we gaze at the belly button and sink our heart towards the floor. Finding gentle, juicy release in your seated pigeon. As you let gravity take over. Feeling that each time you let go of tension through the thigh, as we stop resisting, we're able to go deeper into the pose. Beginning with those sits bones, feel the tailbones start to root into the seat beneath you as you slowly straighten that spine. Building everything back tall, straight, solid, one vertebrae at a time. Almost hearing, seeing, or feeling those bony protrusions just click into place as you straighten up. Find a long, tall posture. Let's sigh and release that ankle from the knee. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. Now again, if straightening that leg and crossing at the shins is better for your hips, Go ahead and do that. Find what works for you. So we begin to fold forward. Once again, letting everything go. Feeling tension drain. As we release through the head, the neck, the shoulders. Almost feeling as if your upper back has a layer of snow or ice on it. And the sun's come out, beginning to melt all of that layer. Feeling it drip across to either side, flowing down your shoulders. Easing any tension you might be holding in that upper back. And very slowly, starting at that tailbone once again, grounding, rooting into the chair. As you take your time, coming all the way back up. Eventually letting the mid-back connect to the chair. Upper back, shoulders melt down away from the ears. Your crown reaches top. And release that foot. We are going to widen the feet as wide as the chair, if not a little bit wider, coming into a wide-legged forward fold. Forearms resting on those thighs. Just feeling a gentle release through that low back. Sending the breath all the way down into the belly. Bring those hands to the knees now. Very gently heel toe the feet in. Slowly rising up with the spine. This is a point in your practice where if you have a mudra, a hand position that you especially like, you're welcome to take that now. I'm easy. I just like to rest my hands on my lap and choose what's most comfortable for you. So you begin to bring your mind into the crown of your head. Feeling that puppeteer in the sky snip his little string. Letting all tension, stress, tightness melt and release across your scalp. Maybe closing down the eyes, if that's comfortable for you, or just softening the gaze. So you begin to feel a sense of calm flow through ears, jaw, cascading down the back of your neck, rippling through each vertebrae of the spine. Shoulders relax back and down. Don't worry, they're pretty attached. If you let go of any tension or holding, they won't fall off. Feeling that sense of melting flow through your side body, chest and heart. Feeling stomach release as hips and thighs melt into the chair. Feeling all tension drain from your legs. That sense of calm cascades over knees, dripping down the shins, releasing through the calves. tops of feet, heels, arches, ball of the foot, and the toes, and completely surrender. Pausing here, slowing down time just a few seconds as we sit in mindful presence with our bodies exactly as they are right now. Beginning to gently notice the breath. Noticing how it fills the body, the lungs, and then effortlessly releases. Viewing the breath as an act of kindness to yourself, an act of nourishing, replenishing. As you begin to breathe just a little bit deeper, bring in more nourishment, replenishing, refreshing into the body. And as that breath deepens, feel fresh oxygen flood to fingers and toes. Maybe finding some gentle organic movement, starting with the fingertips, moving all the way into the palms, the wrists. Or letting those hands drop gently down by your sides. As we deepen the breath again, sweeping everything up towards the side, reaching tall, leaving glass just a little bit taller, straighter, stronger than you came in. Pausing with those fingers above the head just to give your body a little fresh circulation. Turning the heart back on. Or melting those hands down to heart center. Pausing here to thank yourself for the effort, the work that you put in. Thank you for honoring your body, for being here today. Namaste.
Namaste.